Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. It's me, Omar Nowick. If you're wondering why my name is Omar Nowick, it's because I trade Nowick candles. But that's not our topic today. Today we will be talking about trend lines and market structure. Now, regardless if you trade the Nowick strategy or if you do not trade the Nowick strategy, this video is very extremely important. Why? Because regardless of which strategy you trade, you still need to know and be able to read how trend move, right? Now, here's the part about this. It's really different from a person to a person, from a trader to a trader, how they read trends. Me personally, I watched at least 10 videos before I was able to make my own way of reading trends. Now, I have a bit of a special way, but I kept it simple. And that's why the way I read trends is very important and very good. Now, I don't want to yap too much about it. I just want to let you know how we're going to go over this video. This video is probably going to be a bit long, but that's not an issue because we care about the value in this video. So all I want you to do, first of all, is take notes while I'm talking, because it's going to be a lot of information. If you don't take notes, you're not going to be able to follow up with what I'm saying, because I don't want later on when I explain something in the video, you come back to the beginning and then, like, oh, what Omar mentioned this before, what does he mean? If you take notes, you're not going to forget it. And plus, when you take notes, you'll be able to use this information later on while you're trading, right? Second thing, if you're laying down right now on your phone, laying down in bed, sitting on your phone, watching this video, please take this video seriously, okay? So sit down properly, bring a pen, bring your notes, bring, I don't know, a Word document, whatever you want, and take notes. This is very important. Now, also, the way I'm gonna be going through this video is, I don't want to be like all these other, online gurus who just, chart out and draw like how they want, yeah, this is the uptrend and this is a downtrend like this. No. I don't want to be one like these people. I want to show you how it looks like on real charts. But first, I'm gonna have to draw like that. And then every time I'm gonna say something off the charts, like I draw it, I'm gonna jump straight to the charts and show you how it looks like in real charts. Now, regardless what you trade, regardless, if you trade Forex, futures, crypto, stocks, regardless, it's the same concept. So this concept is used regardless of what you trade, okay? And I'm gonna tell you something funny. At the end of the video, I'm gonna give you an indicator that I use that helped me be able to identify the trends and read the trends. Now you'll be like, okay, Omar, why don't you just drop the indicator directly? I'm gonna tell you, wait. The indicator does do mistakes, okay? That's why it's very important that you understand everything first and then you use the indicator. One more thing. This video is gonna be designed for beginners and for advanced traders. So we're gonna start with the basic stuff on what a trend is, and then we're gonna jump to the more advanced, and then until we reach the point where I explain everything I know about trends. So if you're an advanced trader, don't go and just jump to the end, to see the sauce. No, still watch the whole process because I want you to raise everything you know about trends and just lock in on this one. This is gonna be the only video you ever need about trend lines. Instead of just keep jumping from a video to video, watching this guy, watching this guy, watching this guy, watching this guy, and then you get analysis paralysis. Yeah, and the way the video will be structured is we're gonna be talking about external downtrend, then we're gonna be talking about external uptrend, then we're gonna be talking about change of character, break of structure, my 3 steps verification, how to confirm that the trend already reversed. We're also gonna be talking about internal downtrend, internal uptrend, so everything I know about trends, all right? I think I yapped too much. Let's just jump straight to the charts and let's get into it. So before we do on the charts, let me explain to you guys the 3 types of trends. First type of trend we have is a downtrend. Second type of trend we have is uptrend. And third type of trend we have which is useless trend, it's the horizontal trend. The downtrend has another name, it's called bearish trend as well, which is basically when the price is moving downwards. So if price is moving downwards, this is called a bearish trend or a downtrend, okay? Downtrend or bearish trend. When the price is pushing up, it's called a bullish trend, like this one. It's called a bullish trend or an uptrend. You see price pushing up. And then you have third type of trend, which is useless. It's called horizontal trend, or it's called consolidation. That's when there is no trend. The price is just moving sideways. You know what I mean? Like price is not an uptrend, price is not a downtrend, it's just moving sideways. This you usually tend to avoid trading because price is unpredictable then, you know? So that's why this part we're just gonna skip. We're just gonna focus on the downtrend and the uptrend. Let's start with the downtrend. First thing about a downtrend, okay? What does a downtrend consist of? It consists of highs and lows, lower highs and lower lows. Now you might be like saying, okay, what does that mean? So let me explain to you how the trend would look like. It consists of a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, and so on. Lower high, lower low, lower low. Okay, cool. So LH, LH. Boom. And then lower lows is LL. Just so you know it. In case I write the abbreviations later on, you know what I'm talking about. Cool. So a downtrend, we said, consists of lower highs and lower lows. Now, why is this called a lower high? You might be wondering, why is this called a lower high? Because this high right here is lower than this high. Why is this called lower high? Because this high is lower than this high. Same concept for the lower low. Why is this called a lower low? Because this low is lower than this low. Why is this called a lower low? Because this low is lower than this low. Now, why it's called a lower high and a lower low is not really important, okay? Like, it's just good to know it. Like, that's why it's called a lower high and a lower low. If you don't understand why it's called like that, that's not a big deal. It's okay. And the most important part is that you understand that a downtrend consists of lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. That's it. Like, that's it. Just because I forgot to mention this. So this right here is how an external downtrend looks like. You see high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. That's how an external downtrend looks like. Okay? Now, let's move on. Or you know what? Let me show you a quick example of how an external downtrend looks like. So this is a good example of an external downtrend. And this, by the way, this whole thing doesn't matter on which time frame you're on. It's the same concept. So we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low, or not lower low, like a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low. Boom, like this. You see? Now when I take it to the side, like this, oops. When I take it to the side like this, you see how now it's way cleaner. Like you see how you can read it way cleaner when you do the, when you chart it out yourself. See how cleaner it is. Like you see how easier it is to read the lower highs and lower lows. Now there's one thing, you see like the indicator already is identifying these lower highs and lower lows. But just like you see lower low, lower low, lower high, lower high. Just want to, I want to explain everything and then I'm going to tell you what the indicator is called. So you see how cleaner it is when you just draw it out and then take it to the side. It will make you see the trend way cleaner. So that's a small advice I always give to my students. If you're not sure, just draw and then take it to the side and you're gonna be able to see the trend way cleaner. Because when you see it like this, you already know now, okay, yeah, now it makes sense. Now, okay, now it's a clean downtrend. You see what I mean? So that's it pretty much for the external downtrend. There's just one note I wanna give to you guys, which is a very important note actually. And this is something not a lot of people talk about. It's something, I don't know if I learned it from anyone, or if I made it myself, because I don't remember watching it from anywhere. So the way I like to see the trend, regardless if it's a downtrend or an uptrend, for a downtrend, for a lower high, sorry, to be confirmed, we need to break the previous low. What do I mean by that? I'm gonna explain to you. Look, you know what? Let me just do it here. I think it would be just faster. Look, so you see here we said this is a lower high, this is a lower high. Why? Because we broke the lows. Now, let's say we have something like this. Okay? Is this right here a lower high? No, it's not. Why? Because we still didn't close below the lows. We still haven't broken the lows. What about now? Is this a lower high? Is this right? Is this right here a lower high? No, it's not yet. Why? Because we still haven't broken the lows. You see, we haven't closed below the lows yet. Once we do this, now it's a confirmed lower high. Got it? So, to confirm a lower high, we need to always close below the lows. That's it. We need to always, always, always close below the lows. If we don't do that, it's still not a confirmed lower high. Let me write it down so you can take a screenshot of it. Yeah, and if it's not, like let's say in this case, like this, is it a lower high? We said no. What do we call this? I like to call it potential lower high. Why? Because it's potentially gonna become a lower high. We're gonna know for sure only when we break the lows. So is it official lower high here? No, it's not official lower high yet. But if we break here, then it's not potential anymore. Now it's a confirmed lower high. That's it pretty much. Now let me write this down for you so you guys, if you want to take a screenshot. A lower high is confirmed in a downtrend only when we close below the most recent lower low. So a lower high is confirmed and a downtrend only when we close below the most recent lower low. Feel free to take a screenshot of it. I gotta look good, bro. That's why I'm taking that pose. So you don't be like, yo, why is Omar doing this weird ass signs? You know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, why is this smiling to the camera and doing poses? If you want to take a screenshot, you know, at least I gotta look handsome. Nah, jokes aside, that's it pretty much. So let me see. Oh, perfect. So before we broke these lows, okay? Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Boom. Perfect. Perfect. Even the indicator didn't identify it. That's amazing. So, is this right here a lower high? I want you to answer. Think. Is this a lower high? If you said yes, rewatch everything I just talked. Like, rewatch the whole video. No, it's not. Why? Because we still haven't closed below the most recent lower low. You see what I mean? So we just created the lower high, which is a potential lower high. But once we close below the most recent lower low, that's when I would say, okay, now it's a confirmed lower high. So until then, it's not a lower high. Let's see, what about now? What about now? Is this a lower high? Yes, it is. Why? Because we closed below the most recent lower low. And the way I like to see the closure, I don't look at the wicks, like how this indicator is doing. You see that this indicator is doing it based off, you know, the wicks. I don't like to do that. I prefer to do it based off the body closures. So you see this is the lower low. Once the body closes below there, that's when I would say, okay, this is a confirmed, you know, like break. It's called breakout structure. You got what I mean? So only when we close below the lower low of the body, so not the wick, the body. So you could just bring a line, not the wick, the body, like this, and we close below it. That's when it's confirmed that this is a clear lower high. Cool? I'm gonna make when we go on with this video, I'm going to be explaining it even more and more in details. So yeah, that's it pretty much for the external downtrend. Now you know almost everything about external downtrends. Yeah, there is one more small detail that I could explain it now, which is when we break the lower low, this is called BOS, break of structure. Okay, just like extra information that you could use, BOS, break of structure. Now, just so you don't get confused, I know ICT traders or other traders, some other traders, other schools, they teach that break of structure is something else. As I said, forget everything that you got learned from there and focus on this one. Because for me, the other thing is called change of character, which I'm gonna be talking about. I just don't want to jump into it directly. Okay. So just so you know, when we break the lows, it's called break of structure. Break of structure. So that's when basically when we're confirming that the trend is continuing. That's it. When you see that, okay, we're confirming the trend continuation, that is called break of structure. Anyway, that's it pretty much about external downtrends. Now let's move to external uptrends. Now, because if you understood this part, that would be amazing. Now you will know, now it will be even easier to know and understand how external uptrend works, because it's pretty much the same as how external downtrend works, just the opposite way. But yeah, and if you didn't understand the first part, then you're 100% gonna understand it from here. Now for the external uptrend, instead of lower highs and lower lows, now we have higher lows and higher highs. So this is a low, and this is a high. This is a higher low, HL, and this is a higher high, HH. This is a higher low, and this is a higher high. You know what, I'm just gonna write HH, and I'll write here H low, HL. Perfect. Now, so basically, an uptrend consists of a higher low and higher highs. Higher lows, higher highs. You see, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Why is this called a higher low? Because this low right here is higher than the low right here. Why is this called a higher high? Because this high is higher than this high. As I said earlier, you don't really need to know why it's called like this. It's just nice information to know, okay? Like, it's just good to know why it's called like this. So now you know an uptrend consists of a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay? Now, when we break the high right here, what is this called? It's called break of structure. Why? Because we're confirming that the previous high got broken. That means we're confirming that the trend is gonna keep pushing in the same direction. Same concept here. What is this called when we broke this high? It's called BOS, break of structure. Why? Because we already now know that the trend is confirming, okay, we're gonna keep pushing in the same direction. So now we already know that the trend is continuing in the same direction. Now, let me ask you a question. I wanna see if you've been understanding or not. Would you say this is a higher low right here? No, it's not. Lock in, chat. Lock in. It's not a higher low yet. Why? Because we still didn't break the previous highs. You remember how in the previous one, if we don't break the lows, it's still not a confirmed lower high? Here, it's same concept but the opposite way. This is not a confirmed higher low until we break the higher highs. All right. What about now? Is this a confirmed higher low? No, not yet. Why? Because we still didn't break the higher highs. Okay, what about now? Is this a confirmed higher low? Yes, it is. So this becomes the official higher low. Now, when it was here, what is this called? It's called potential higher low. Potential higher low. All right? And now It's called a confirmed higher low, or you could just call it a higher low. Got it? Very easy, very simple. And then what is this called right here? After we broke, it's called higher high. Cool? So that's it pretty much. Let me just write it down before I show you how it looks like on the chart. A higher low is only confirmed after we break the most recent high. Most recent high. Yeah, exactly. A higher low is only confirmed once we break the most recent high. Most recent means the last one. So yeah, that's it pretty much. You could take a screenshot if you want. All right, cool. Now let's see how this looks on the charts. Perfect. So look here. We're not gonna go over the change of character now. This is gonna be the next step. So look, we have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. Take it to the side. Oh shit, yeah, Omar, you got a good point. You see, after you start drawing it, now it makes sense, right? You see, like, it's getting confirmed now. And I'm gonna give you a small trick because you get like, yo, Omar, but why isn't the indicator identifying these? I'm gonna give you a small trick how we're gonna do this on the 5 minutes, you know? Because on the 5 minutes, you're gonna see that, okay, you're gonna see that the indicator is identifying them. But I don't wanna rush it too much. So let's take one step at a time, okay? So that's it pretty much, you see? Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And now we have a confirmed external uptrend. Cool? That's it pretty much. So now you know what an external downtrend is. Now you know what an external uptrend is. And you know now what a breakout structure is. This is the BOS here. This is the BOS here. And so on. Same on the charts. You see, like we created a higher low. Let's say, let me see. I want to test your knowledge, guys. Is this right here a higher low? No, it's not. Why? Because we still didn't break the highs. What about now? Is this a higher low? Yes, it is. Why? Because we closed above the highs. You see? So after we closed above the most recent high, this became the confirmed higher low. Cool? Cool. So now you know the external downtrend. Now you know the external uptrend. Now we're going to talk about change of character. Let's start with the change of character on the downtrend. Well, let me delete this one. So, what is a change of character, first of all? A change of character is when the trend is reversing. So you know now we're in a downtrend. Okay, how do you know? Okay, now we're switching from a downtrend to an uptrend. That's a good question, right? Like, how do we know? Okay, Omar, I know what a downtrend is, I know what an uptrend is, but how do I know? Now I'm switching from a downtrend to an uptrend. Well, simply, the first step to know is once in the downtrend, once we close above the most recent lower high, that's when we say, okay, we're switching from a downtrend to an uptrend. Okay? I'm gonna say it again. When we close above the most recent lower high, that's when you know we're switching from a downtrend to an uptrend. And what is this called? It's called change of character. Change of character. CHOCH. Okay? So, after we close above the most recent lower high, are we in a downtrend now or are we in an uptrend? We're in an uptrend. Okay? So this is the first step. A downtrend shifts to an uptrend once we close above the most recent high. Cool? So once we close above the most recent high, that's when you'll be like, okay, cool. Now we're switching from a downtrend to an uptrend. Now, here I'm gonna explain a bit of an advanced concept. You know what? Let me just do a quick example. So you see here, we're in a clear downtrend. Let me just delete this first. We're in a clear downtrend. Have a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low. Right? We closed above the most recent high. And that's when we said, okay, this is a change of character. That's when I'm like, okay, cool. Now I know we're switching from a downtrend to an uptrend. Because look, when you look at the charts, it might look confusing. But when you take it to the side, you're going to see, oh shit, yeah, it's so simple. Omar just explained it right now. This is the most recent lower high, and we closed above it. So it's pretty easy, right? So that's it. That's the first step for trend reversal. When we switch a trend, that's when we close above the most recent high. That's when we switch from downtrend to an uptrend. Okay, now the market makers know this. The market makers know, okay, most retail traders like me and you probably who's watching this video, they know once we close above this high, what will people start doing? They will start buying. Why will they do that? Because they think automatically, okay, now we reverse the trend, now we're in an uptrend, that means price gotta push up. So what do market makers do? They tell them, we know your tricks. Let's push the price down. And now you get like, yo, Omar, what? Like, bruh, I'm not, like that doesn't make sense. Like, you just said and we're in an uptrend. Why did price end up pushing down? You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you, hold on. That's the first step of the 3 steps verification. Now, I'm gonna explain the 3 steps. So first step is what I just told you. We close above the most recent high. That's for the downtrend, okay? Now, here's the part though. Are we in an uptrend? Technically, yes. How confident I am that we are in an uptrend? I'm 70% confident. I'm only 70% confident that we're in an uptrend. Because this is not enough confirmation. This could be just a fake out. This could be just them faking us to think that we're in an uptrend, and then they end up reversing the price on us. So you'll be like, okay, Omar, what do we do in this case? I'm gonna tell you, hold on. We're gonna write it like this. 3 steps to know that the downtrend shifted to a uptrend. Number 1, once we close above the most recent high. Number 2, we respect the most recent low. Number 3, we break the highs. I'll explain it, don't worry. These are the 3 steps. So step number 1 is once we break the highs. Done. Step number 2, we respect the lows. So I don't want to see price breaking the lows again. No. I wanted to see respecting it. What do I mean by respecting it? Not closing below it. So I want to see something like this. Boom. Price comes here and doesn't break the most recent low. Now I know, okay, cool. That's the second step. We respect the most recent low. We didn't break it. We respected it. Now what's the third step? Third step is once we break the highs. And that's it. And you see now how we have it. We have a low, high, higher low, higher high. Now we have a confirmed uptrend. You get what I mean? So let me do it in a better way. So boom. Are we in an uptrend now? Potentially. Are we 100% confident? No. That's the first step. Second step, okay, we respect the lows. Are we confident enough? Not yet. We still need to see the third step. What is the third step? That's why, guys, I told you this is a potential higher low. What is the third step? We break the highs. And now I can see, okay, now an official uptrend. Because look, when I take it to the side, it's obvious now I have a low, high, higher low, higher high. Okay, now I can say confidently, okay, we're in an uptrend. You get what I mean? And now we can expect price to do something like this. Create a new higher low, new higher high, new higher low, new higher high, and so on, and just keep going. Now let's look at it. Look what happened here. So we're in a clear downtrend, right? First step, Price broke above the most recent lower. You know what? Let me bring it here so we can see it together. First step, how to know a downtrend shifted to an uptrend. Once we close above the most recent high. Okay, cool. We close above the most recent high. Amazing. First step done. Second step, we respect the most recent low. Boom. We never closed below the lows, so we respected it. Cool. Step number 2 is done. Step number 3, we break the highs. Boom. Amazing. Now we have a confirmed uptrend. Because now when I take it to the side, that's how it's going to look like. Boom. Change of character. Higher low, higher high. And I'm going to take it to the side like this. We have a low, high, higher low, higher high. This is the basic, how I explained to you, the basic external uptrend, right? And that's it pretty much. Now you know, okay, how we switch from a downtrend to an uptrend. Clear? If this is not clear, please rewatch this part until you understand it 100%. Sounds good? Now let's do the same, but for when an uptrend is switching to a downtrend. You know what I'm gonna do, chat? I'm gonna make this green so you guys don't get confused. Boom. Amazing. And let me just copy this, fix it first, and then I'm gonna explain it quickly. 3 steps to know a uptrend. Shifted to a downtrend. Once we close below the most recent low, don't worry, I'm gonna explain everything I'm writing. We respect the most recent high. We break the lows. Perfect. So now here we're in a clear uptrend, right? Perfect. So now we're in a clear uptrend here. Not a single issue. I'm pretty sure every single person who's watching this video understands that why we're in a clear uptrend here. Now, what's the first step to know that we're switching from an uptrend to a downtrend? First step first is gonna be once we close below the most recent higher low. Once we close below the most recent low. Boom. Here we close below the most recent low, which is this higher low. What is this called? I want you to say it so I know if you're understanding or not. What is this called once we close below the most recent low in this case? What is this called? Is it called break of structure or is it called change of character? Remember, we're switching the trend. Exactly. It's called change of character. If you said break of structure, rewatch this shit. Rewatch it. Rewatch it. No excuses. Rewatch this video. Alright? So once we close below the most recent higher low, that's when we say, okay, now we're switching from an uptrend to a downtrend. Cool. Second step, we respect the most recent high. Let's say price comes back here. We respect the high. Did we close above it? No. Did we see something like this? No. If that was the case, then we're in an uptrend. But did we close above the highs? No, we did not. Cool, that's the second step. Third step, we break the lows. Boom. Are we now in an official downtrend? Yes, we are. Are we confident enough to say we're in a downtrend? Yes, we are. Why? Because now we have a high, low, lower high, lower low. Now I can let me maybe draw it all at once so I can show it to you on the side. So first step, we close below the most recent higher low. That's the change of character. Second step, we went up, we created the most potential lower high. We're still not confident. Are we still confident here? Now, are we confident that we're in a downtrend? No, we're not. What about now? Yes, we are. Why? Because when we take this to the side, oh shit, this looks familiar. This looks very familiar to this, right? Look at it. We have a high, low, lower high, lower low. So this would be the lower high, and this would be the lower low. Cool? You know what? Let me do this in case you want to take a picture. And then I'm going to show you how it looks like on real charts. All right. Got it? Now let's see it on the real charts. So as you can see here, we're done with the downtrend and how it reversed. Now we're in a clear uptrend. Let's see when it's going to reverse the trend. Oops. So this is the higher low, right? So once we break this higher low, as I said, we don't need to wait for the wicks. As long as we close below the body, that's when we say we have a change of character. Let's see. Oh, okay. What is this? Let me bring the thing, the 3-step verification, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Boom. Amazing. So this is the first step. What is this called right here? It's called change of character. Cool. First step, once we close below the most recent low. This was the most recent low. It's the higher low. This is the most recent low. We close below it. Amazing. Now what's the next step? We respect the most recent high. Let's see if we do that. Oh, we never close above the most recent high. Cool, amazing. And then once we break the most recent low, which it did. And that's it pretty much. Cool. Got it? Maybe I went too fast. I feel like I went too fast. I feel like we went too fast. Okay. You know what? Let's go back a bit more here. Cool. So we had the, we brought first step. Once we close below the most recent low, done. That's the first step. Second step, we respect the most recent high. So I don't want to. So now we have this low. Before we break this low, I don't want to see us breaking here. So I want, like this candle came here, and I want to see, okay, what's gonna happen now? Are we gonna close below the lows again, or are we gonna go and break it? Let's see what happened. Boom. Okay, now I can say we're officially in a downtrend. Why? Because now we have a high, low, lower high, lower low. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen now. Okay, is this a lower high? Not yet. We still need to break the lows to confirm it. And then, boom. Okay, once we close, now I can say we're in a clear downtrend. Cool, because look what we have now. Now we have a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And you see when we jump to the 5 minutes, it's gonna show you, which I'm gonna be talking about, like how to use the indicator on the 5 minutes to be able to confirm if this is a lower high or not. Because I know most of y'all probably know the information I'm just saying, but you guys would be confused to be like, okay, is this a low? How do you know that this is a lower high or not? I'm gonna talk about it later in the video. No stress. Okay, and now what do we have now? We have a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, cool. Now let's see what's gonna happen after. Oh, we broke that. So what are we in a downtrend or an uptrend? Now we're in an uptrend. We have a low, high, higher low, higher high. Cool. Let's see what's gonna happen after. Oh, we created a new higher low, and a higher high. Cool. Let's see what's gonna happen after. Okay, potential higher low. Okay, the market was just consolidating. This is the horizontal. Actually, this is a good example. This is the good example of horizontal trend. You see, we're neither going up, we're neither going down. We're just moving sideways. So this is when I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade this price action. I wouldn't be feeling confident trading this. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's it pretty much. Like you see this whole zone, I wouldn't be feeling comfortable. And then here, I would be like, okay, cool. Let me just do a quick test for you. So we have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. Now what is this, guys? Would you say this is a higher low or no? Look, is this you see like how I drew it? By the way, once you become really good at this, you're not gonna be drawing every single one, you know what I mean? Because you'll get used to it. But like I'm doing it now because that's how I teach my students. I teach them to do this. It's a basic way. It's an easy way to be able to identify the trend. But once you become real good at it, you don't need to do this. So let's see. We have a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. What is this? Is this a higher low? You remember about the potential higher low. It's still not a higher low. Why? Because we still didn't break the highs. You get what I mean? So that's why this is called a potential. This is a potential higher low. Okay? Now let's see. Oh, now we broke it. What does this become? This becomes the official higher low. Because look how it will look like now. It will look like this and like this. Okay? Now this becomes a confirmed higher low. Got it? Let me maybe see if we have more examples. Okay, no, this is something else. Now, this we're gonna talk about after this actually. This is the internal trend, which is good that it showed up now. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, I'm excited because I was worried like it's gonna take me time to find one. Amazing. Is everything clear so far? The thing is, I'm asking you questions like you guys can respond. It's funny. I'm just used to, when I'm like saying to my students, I always like ask them, is this clear? Do you have any questions? And then someone jumps in and asks questions. But with you guys, I can't do that, unfortunately. Yeah, that's tough. It is what it is. We gotta try to make as much value as we can while we can with, what we got to do. Amazing. Now we're gonna talk about the internal downtrend and internal uptrend. All right. So let's start with the uptrend. Let's start with the internal downtrend, just because I saw the example. So I wanna I can find the quick example easily. So what is this? This is called external uptrend, right? Everyone agrees. This is, if you're watching until now, you already know that this is the external uptrend. We have a low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Not a single issue. All right. Now, when would you say that the trend becomes a downtrend? Once we break below the most recent low. That's what I told you guys, right? I told you, okay, once we break this low, that's when we become an official downtrend. Now let me ask you a quick question. What if price does something like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this? Are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? Aha, you see? Now you're confused. And if you're confused, this shows me that you've actually been paying so much attention, because that means you understood everything I just explained to you. Because what is this? Like, okay, it's clear, like this is a clear uptrend. And you said, Omar, to become in a downtrend, we need to close below the most recent higher low. But now I'm looking at this, we didn't close below the most recent higher low, but yet we formed a downtrend here. We have a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So if you take this to the side and you look at it by itself, yeah, this is a clear downtrend. But Omar, you just told us we need to break the most recent higher low to become in a downtrend. Yo, stop messing with us. What is this? What's going on? I'm gonna tell you it's all right. This is a concept that I personally developed by myself, and I found so much good results on it, and that's why I'm explaining it now to you. Now look, I know I told you this, we become in a downtrend only when we close below the most recent higher low, but I never talked about the internal downtrend. So sometimes while price is going to break the uptrend, it might form an internal downtrend. Why did I call it internal? Because although the bigger picture, we're in an uptrend, the smaller picture, we're in a downtrend. Ooh, interesting, right? So are we in an uptrend or in a downtrend? I'm gonna tell you this. Externally, we're in an uptrend. Internally, we're in a downtrend. Now, which one do we trade? Well, in my strategy, in my Wick strategy, you're allowed to trade both. Number one is the external. Number two is the internal. And it's okay. Like, it depends. I don't want to go too much about my strategy right now, because this video is dedicated to be not for my strategy. It's dedicated to be for, for the for the market structure and for the trends. But yeah, that's how an internal downtrend. So in the last leg, this we call it last leg, okay? In the last leg, we're in a downtrend. Now, for me personally, I do trade this as a downtrend. Why? Because if let's say if I'm enter sells here, and I'm gonna have my stop loss at the most recent lower high, and I'm gonna have it, let's say 1-to-1, I'm still good, you know? Like, let's say price comes back, boom. It's all right. I could hit my take profit without breaking the external trend. That's why it's cool with it. Now, it depends on your strategy, what strategy you're trading. That's why I don't want to, tell you which one to trade because I don't know what you trade. But if you're new to trading, I would highly recommend you to watch I made a 5-hour course video about my strategy, explaining it fully in depth, and I would highly recommend you to watch it and learn it. If you're trading your own strategy, I don't know what to tell you because I don't want to, misguide you. But I just like this is a very important concept that you learn, that this is called an external uptrend and this is called an internal downtrend. So internally we are in a downtrend. You see what I mean? And then if price, let's say, decides to keep going like this, then now we're officially in a downtrend. Why? Because we have internal downtrend and we have an external downtrend as well. Because after we break here, this will be the change of character. And now internally we're in a downtrend and externally we're also in a downtrend. Cool? So I'm gonna just write a quick note about it here. Number 1 is external uptrend. Number 2 is internal downtrend. Got it? Now usually external uptrends are stronger than internal downtrends. That's why the way I like to use the internal downtrend is just to catch a small piece of the cake. That's it. Like I don't want to, if you're looking for long-term trades, of course, external uptrend is better because it will give you the bigger picture. But if you just want to catch a small piece of the cake, then internal trend in general is better. Why? Because it's just fast. I like the internal trend because my stop loss would be usually smaller, so I'm gonna either hit take profit or stop loss way quicker. So yeah, that's it pretty much. That's how you have an external uptrend and then internal downtrend. I can show you a quick example on how it looks like in real market. So you can see here, we have a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And then for us to break the trend, we need to close below here, right? Once we close below here, that's when I would say, okay, the external trend shifted. But yet, on the way down, we had the high, low, lower high, lower low. So now you're like, okay, what is this? We look at it. Oh shit, okay, this is the internal downtrend. Okay, let's see, what is this? Oh shit, we're in external uptrend. Cool. And what else? Let's see what happens after. You see, we even continued that trend. We broke below this low, and then we had a new lower high, a new lower low, and then we failed to break the external uptrend. And then so basically here in this case, internally we're in a downtrend, externally we're in an uptrend. I'm gonna show you if I draw it all at once, it's gonna be mind-blowing. Like I told you guys earlier, the uptrend is stronger than the internal trend, but it's also a concept that it's very good to learn. You know what I mean? So we have it like this, and then we have boom, 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 and then boom. You see, we're in an external uptrend. The external uptrend will only end once we break this low right here. And then we start forming an internal downtrend, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then we broke the trend again here. So here we broke the internal downtrend. And now we could again say externally we're in an uptrend and we're in an uptrend overall. Now this will be the first step of the of the 3 steps verification. Let's see if it will respect it. And it does. You see? Now we have, without this, let's remove this part because I don't want to, you could go unlimited over this. You see, after we had the change of character here, after we broke the most recent high, now we formed again an external and internal uptrend. Cool. And now this trend would only shift once we break below this higher low. Let's see when it does that. Okay, it did. So that's the first step of the, the 3 steps. Oops. God damn, Omar. That's the first step of the 3 steps verification. Let's see what's gonna happen after. Okay, cool. Okay, now we're in a clear downtrend. Why? Because we broke the most recent higher low, respected the highs, and created a new low. Okay, what's gonna happen after? Okay, we broke the trend again, and so on. Now we're on the 15 minutes. That's why the trend keeps shifting a lot. Usually on higher time frames, the trend doesn't shift that much, but yeah, that's it pretty much. All right, so now we're gonna talk about the internal uptrend, which is pretty simple. You should already know it by now, but I think this is the last concept I'm gonna be talking about for today, which is, let's say now here we're in a clear downtrend, right? A clear external downtrend. Now you're cool enough, now you have enough knowledge to know that this is the external downtrend. And this is, you already know now, for us to break the trend, we need to close above the most recent high. But let's say, in this case, we do this. Boom. Okay, are we in a downtrend or are we in an uptrend now? Well, simple answer, we're in an external downtrend, but we're in an internal uptrend. Okay? That's it pretty much. Let me try to find a quick example. Is it, you know what? Let me just write it down as well in case you want to take a picture. 1, external downtrend. 2, internal uptrend. One advice I could give you actually is when you're trading the internal uptrend, try to not have a take profit above the external downtrend. So in this case, let's say you want to take buys here, okay? If your buys is gonna be, your take profit is gonna be above the external lower high, try to avoid these trades. Why? Because as I said earlier, the external is stronger than the internal. So a lot of the times you're gonna see, okay, price is gonna do something like this, and once we're gonna come to break the external, price is gonna reject from there. That's why I try to avoid trades that request the external trend to shift. Okay? Instead, when would I be comfortable taking the internal uptrend trades? If let's say I would enter buys here, and then my take profit would be, let's say here, below the external downtrend, then I would be more comfortable taking these trades. Because now I know, okay, when I take the trade, I don't need it to break the external downtrend, so I don't care. Like, I'm not asking for too much. I usually tell this to my students. If you asking the internal trend to break the external trend, you're asking for too much. You want them to do too much. You want a small internal trend to break the whole external trend. That doesn't make sense, right? That's why if your take profit is above or below, in this case, above the external trend, try to avoid taking these trades. Same concept for the other one here. If your take profit is like, if you need to break the external trend, try to avoid this. Cool? I'm gonna show you an example and then I'm gonna leak for y'all the indicator's name and how you can use it for the 5 minutes. What was I talking about? The external. So we had the external downtrend, internal uptrend. Yeah. Yeah, I remember I saved it somewhere. Amazing. Yeah, this was the one I was looking for. So look, externally, we have an external downtrend, right? And then here it's just like consolidating. So we're not going to count this. So we had a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then look what happened after. We have a high, high, low, higher high. God damn, I can't draw no more. Why? Let me draw it better. High. So we have an external downtrend. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we have an internal uptrend. Cool. Perfect. Let's just take it to the side so we see it better. Cool. Let's just do this. So you see we have an external downtrend. When does the external downtrend end? Only once we break this high. Amazing. Now, can we take buys here? Of course, you need more confirmations than just a trend, okay? I don't trade just trends, just so you know. Like, what I'm just explaining to you right now is like maybe 50% of my strategy. That's it. Like, that's literally max 50% of the strategy because I need more confluences to take a trade. I don't just take trades based off trends. That would be, you know, crazy to take just based off the trend. That would be really like risky. You need another confluences. Would you be profitable? Maybe, but I would highly doubt it, you know? Like you need other confluences than just the trend. So anyway, so you see we're in a clear downtrend, and now to end the downtrend, we need to break this external downtrend. All right, no problem. But then you look here, we have low, high, higher low, higher high. Okay, now an internal uptrend. So now you know we have an external downtrend. Oops, you have an external downtrend, and you have an internal uptrend. Why is this an internal uptrend? Because we have a low, high, higher low, higher high. Got it? Actually, this is my strategy. You see how we tapped the no-wick candle? Once we tapped it, we rejected from there. That's basically it for my strategy. Like that's how simple it is. But there is, as I said, there is way more confluences that you need to follow. All right, cool. So now you know what external trend is, what external downtrend is, what external uptrend is, what an internal downtrend is, what an internal uptrend is, what is change of character, what is breakthrough structure, what is the 3 steps verification. So if you watched this far, shout out to you. Now you deserve to know what the indicator is called for the trends. It's basically this one, BOS / change of character by Nephew Sam. Screenshot it. It's completely for free. Like you don't need to pay anything for this indicator. And I don't know who made it, to be honest, or now we know his name is Nephew Sam, but I don't know him personally. I never talked to him, and for now it's free. Let's hope this guy keeps it for free for us. But yeah, I've been using it for like 2 years now, this indicator, and it's been for free, so that's amazing. And yeah, I hope you got some value from this video. Now, there's one small trick I would like to give you, okay? Which is this. Look, let's say, because the indicator is not super accurate. With the external trend, it is. Like you see, we have a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. You see, it's very accurate. But sometimes, let's say, with the internal trend, it's not so accurate. So let's say you want to know if, let's do this. Let's say just for the sake of it, you're not sure if this is a higher low or not. I mean, it's pretty clear higher low, but let's say you're not sure, is this a higher low or not? What do? Just jump to the 5 minutes and look. If the indicator says it's a higher low, that means it is. Let's see. Oh, it is. You see, it says higher low. Then it's a clear higher, then it is a higher low. You got what I mean? So when you're not, use this only when you're not sure. If you're sure about it, don't do this trick. But when you're not sure, use this trick. It helps a lot, okay? So if you're, like in this case, you wouldn't have to look at it because you already know it. Let me see another example. So let's say you're not sure if this is a lower high or not. Right here. What do? We just, let me just go here so we don't miss it. You're not sure if this is a lower high or not. Just jump to the 5 minutes. Oh shit, it says lower high. Cool, now we know it's a lower high. You get what I mean? So that's how I use this indicator. Let's say in this uptrend. Okay, cool. You're not sure if this is a higher low or not. And you're not sure if this is a higher low or not. Cool, let's see. You know what, let me just number them 1 and 2 so that we know which ones we're talking about. And we're gonna do this. Let me just see. All right, let's just jump to the 5 minutes and see if they're okay. So number 2 is a higher low. Number 1 wasn't. Okay, cool. You see? Like number 2, which we were not sure about. Okay, now we know it's a higher low. Number 1 is not a higher low. I mean, me personally as Omar No Wick, just looking at it, I already know that number one is not a higher low because look how small this candle is, and number two is. But like still, I wanna, make sure that you guys also on the same track. Like I made this trick mostly for beginners, to be honest. And that's it pretty much, yeah. All right, amazing. I hope you found some value in this video. Thank you so much, first of all, for watching. This was a long video. It's like a 1 hour video. So if you stick this far, shout out to you. I know, I have belief in you. I don't know who you are, if you're who you're watching, where you're watching from. I don't know if you're a guy, a girl, if you live in the US, if you live in Canada, if you live in Australia, if you live in Europe. I don't know none of that, but I genuinely have belief in you. You might be like, yo, Omar, you don't even know me, man. Why are you sweet talking me? I'll be like, yo, not a lot of people have the stomach and ability to be able to watch a 1 hour YouTube video of a guy, you probably don't even know me, of a guy yapping. You know what I mean? So if you put this much time to watch this video, shout out to you. I genuinely wish you nothing but profitability, and I wish you genuinely good luck with this. Regardless if you're a beginner, regardless if you're advanced, regardless if you've been trading for 1 month, if you're trading for 1 year, or if this is your first time watching this YouTube video. Shout out to you, okay? Now, in case you're interested to learn my strategy, I have a 90% win rate, no Wick strategy on the A setups. So you're like, oh, 90%, no. Only on the A setups I have 90%, usually it's around 80%. If you take the ABC setups, now you'll be like, okay, Omar, what is this interesting no Wick strategy, I never heard of it. I'm like, all right, cool, I got you, bro. I made a 5 hours YouTube video about this strategy, explaining it completely in depth. Now, if you want to go and watch it, I'm gonna leave the link in the description. I highly recommend you to watch it because all my students who joined my program, or people even who I don't know who watched this video became profitable. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you to watch it. If you do, you could directly skip the trend parts because I just explained to you how trend works. So you don't need to rewatch that part. You would save yourself time. It would be like max 4 hours. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Now I'm gonna give you a couple of tasks if you would like to, if you would like to learn more about the strategy, watch the 5 hours YouTube video. If you would like to learn from me personally, Omar, hop on calls with me, get access to me directly one-on-one so I can teach you one-on-one directly. You could apply through the link in my description as well. And of course, you get to join the community and trade with the other students, other traders, all serious traders. And I post these results of our wins every single day on Instagram. So make sure to follow me there because that's where I post my daily trade recaps. And that's it pretty much. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments or hit me up on IG. I'm more active on Instagram. So yeah, that's it pretty much. You know what? I'm gonna leave you a couple of links in the description. Go read them, apply, watch the 5 hours video, do whatever you want. Hit me up on IG, leave a comment, whatever you want. Cool? Regardless, whatever decision you do, if you become my student, if not, if you watch the course, if you keep trading your strategy, if you start trading my strategy, whatever you do, I wish you nothing but profitability. It was nice talking to you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.